guys think we're in focus? Okay, that's not bad. Alright, let's do it. 5. Oh! How we doing? Rubinsky. Good afternoon. How are you?
I get the teapot.
As you should.
As I will.
Locking up.
Locking up. Yeah, you see, I always lock up, unlike you in high school.
Yeah, no, right. It's probably the safer of you moves.
Yeah, well, also I think my pops might have been a little more vigilant on the issue.
A little follow-up with a failure to...
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab the elevator. Do we want to walk?
I'm a little more partially elevator, especially since it's actually nearly here, which is very rare with this elevator.
Yeah, it's not a great elevator.
Considered the world's slowest by most. Come here and check it out for you. No, you didn't.
As they should.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty lousy elevator.
It's not great.
I was thinking about elevators.
You got some?
No, I haven't thought much about it.
So you gotta love it. You got the appetizer, you don't quite have the entree.
Well, Lana was telling me that you could have multiple elevators in one shaft. Like imagine you have multiple cars and they could share shafts or whatever.
I mean, I've heard of like 2 shafts side by side. Like, I mean, that's what we have here.
And
we have the service elevator. I'll show them the service elevator.
Yeah, nice little pan shot there.
Yeah, and then we have the classic elevator.
No, but let's imagine that cars could interact.
Right, 2.
Shafts.
I get it, but
so they could switch between shafts and then get out of each other's way.
It's interesting.
You could optimize it because right now you just have one car, one shaft that's just going straight up and down.
Yeah.
You had an express one that could get around another elevator.
Well, at my work they do low-rise and high-rise elevators. So some of the elevators, 6 of the elevators go from like the lobby to 14, and then the others go from 15 to 30. But they're on different sides, like it's separate shafts. It's two different shafts.
So what I'm picturing is, let's say you grab the elevator at the 40th floor, then it shoots into another shaft, and then expresses all the way to the bottom, and you can have multiple cars in the same shaft,
right?
Like avoiding each other because they can interact.
Right. But that's just you in the elevator. That's not so. I mean, it's a private building, maybe, but this, in most offices they need the elevator to stop on. Other people need it,
Okay, so let's say one car is servicing the 40th to the 50th floor. It picks up all the people in that region and then expresses down
to the lobby, because I feel that's a very common trip. It's actually interesting because firefighters, apparently there are certain codes that are universal on those boards. Hey,
how we doing?
There's certain codes that you can punch in on the panel, and then the elevator will go express regardless of who's already requested it on different floors. It's like it's a built-in in case of emergency. But it's cool. If other people knew it, scamming the elevator.
Let's say you're late for class, whatever, like for work.
I'm not waiting for anybody.
You're gonna hop in that express lane.
It's just like your idea.
I like that. No, I think there's a lot of work to be done with elevators. I honestly haven't put that much thought into it, but I think if you just think about it, it's like one car per shaft. It's a little bit silly. What's our route today?
It's a little bit silly.
Are we straight or are we...
I think we should go straight for here. Amsterdam's a little out of the way for right now. I think next episode we can maybe pop in the roadie roll, maybe get a little food, do a little mukbang, combo video cast mukbang.
Do a little promo.
Oh man, that's the best. Roadie roll? Oh, I love roadie roll. It's a great Indian restaurant in my neighborhood.
We gotta wait for them to actually pay us to say that though.
Well,
I'm a little ahead of that.
I'm free endorsement. That one's on the house, okay? I mean, listen, if you want to throw me another roadie next time, I'll take it. Or a lassi. Man, mango lassi.
That's good stuff.
This is a drink that should be replicated with more fruit.
Mango lassi.
Yeah. Why just the mango?
What is lassi?
It's like a yogurty base of the drink. I mean, the mango works because it's a good texture, especially when blended. Still though, you could do it with the pear maybe. Pear's a little watery. That's another texturous fruit. Peach.
So it's like a smoothie. It sounds like a smoothie.
Yeah, but it's Yogurt. It's more yogurt.
I put a lot of yogurt in my smoothie. I'm heavy on the yogurt.
I feel like when I do, hey, there we go. When I do a smoothie, I usually just do the fruit. But I've been having less smoothies lately because it's really not good for you. It's the worst way to have fruit. Yeah, you destroy or at least damage the fibrous parts of the fruit so that your body can't really digest the fructose and it just becomes fat. As opposed to eating fruit in its natural state, and then it's kind of fine for you. You can have
Wait,
I mean, obviously, too much fruit, you get sick. But,
so when you chop up all the fiber...
Well, it's not just chop, it's like fillet, because your teeth are chopped. It's not like you're throwing bananas and mangoes into your mouth. Oh, you're chewing it up, but you're not doing the same damage.
With
like
the blender, you got
a natural
200 horsepower.
Oh, yeah, you're whipping that thing.
So, no, I'm just trying to understand.
Imagine replicating that with your teeth. Yeah.
When the fibers break down.
Okay, that's... Brought up that camera like a handgun there.
Like, I don't want to just show the dumpster.
Yeah, it smells like dumpster too. So
It's awful.
that's the next thing when they get the smell translated through the video.
Imagine we can bring that live to our phone.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
But then we get to the part.
Okay, but you're saying something before.
The fibers. And I just want to understand what, like, the fiber has value.
Yes, the fiber, your body uses the fruit fiber to help digest the sugars in the fruit. And without those whole fibers, and by essentially destroying them, I mean, I still think you're probably able to get maybe a little fibrous fiber. Comparatively to when it was a whole fruit.
Good,
No, and it makes it so that the sugar, instead of being able to be processed, just becomes fat in your body. So yeah, all of these that's why most people don't lose diets on these juice cleanses.
Yep. They're just hovering where they were.
Yeah.
I mean, you get...
They go a little harder, so it probably compensates, but still.
I hope we're in focus.
Well...
Honestly, we've had trouble with that.
We have. I was letting you handle it, but Morningside's lovely.
Let me just make sure we're in focus.
We could consider dipping down at the Morningside. We've never really discussed that.
Dip.
It's a little dicey.
I mean, at this point, I'm pretty...
Let's push.
Yeah.
We're kind of Mr. Golden Hour over here.
I think we're good.
Let's jump on it.
Let's do it.
And we're back.
Second episode. We're here in the park, Central Park.
Here in the park. Just what I like.
It's golden hour. This is textbook golden hour.
Ira's favorite time.
No, I think it's just going to make us look good. It's going to supplement the analysis.
Anything to make me look good.
You can work with that?
I can work with that.
Today we're talking social media.
Instagram.
Facebook.
Twitter.
Whatever.
Snapchat.
Vine.
That's defunct.
Is Vine out?
Yeah, Vine's out.
I knew some
YouTube.
Vine stars. YouTube for sure.
You knew some Vine stars?
I knew people who knew Vine stars.
Okay. Wow, that story changed instantly. I was just like that. So he knew people, and then suddenly he knew people who knew people.
Yeah. I don't... Oh,
got a ding.
excuse me.
Please silence your cell phones.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, come on.
that should've
People are watching.
We can take that out in post.
I think we're gonna keep that in.
Let's talk... Let's talk social media.
Talk social media.
I'm just gonna say what everyone's thinking.
That's a loaded gun.
A lot of problems.
Okay.
A lot of problems. Nobody wants to talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
I don't know if nobody wants to talk about it, but
is anyone talking about it in a productive way that let's analyze and actually fix the problems?
Maybe not.
I hear people trying to push social media, trying to get users. They're all vying for our eyeballs.
Definitely. That's definitely the public discourse is, follow me on this, snap me.
Everyone's looking for, we're looking for followers.
Can I get a like? Can I get a subscribe?
Can I get a view?
Please.
But I don't care. If nobody watches this, I honestly don't care.
No, I'm not really doing it. Sorry, I'm not doing it for you. We're not doing it. No, that was a little harsh. Listen, baby.
Let's try that again.
Yes. No, but it's true. Now let's just center back to the issues. We got issues. I think one of the biggest issues is that people who aren't really ready for what social media is going to bring are engaging with it are really delving in way too early, and it's shaping them in a way that, I mean, there have been studies on this that show that people have trouble either recognizing faces and or their like social community, their ability to read social skills and like emotions is devalued.
They're doing it online. It's like, where's the emoji?
Right. Well, they're also not connecting. They're not looking at people's faces. I mean, Louis had like a bit about this, and it was a little taboo, and dropped the CK bomb there. But
we're going for it.
Yeah, he had that thing about like his daughter, like in like when you do something bad, like, and you saw someone like cry as a result of you doing something bad, like there was a connection there, and like most people who were I don't know, raised well or have like a decent moral compass, like felt bad and wouldn't want to do that again. But when you just do it online, it's just like
you don't
vicious
see that.
It's vicious and distant. I mean, cyberbullying. I mean,
it's awful.
But people are talking about cyberbullying. I think people are talking about it, and people are talking about the cons aren't widely discussed. It's true.
So
also, if I might take the wheel a little bit,
take it.
I kind of have my own personal thing against Instagram in particular.
Wow.
I kind of got. I know.
Calling him out early.
I'm calling him out early. I kind of got a thing.
All right.
I kind of got to get it off my chest.
Yeah.
I kind of got to get it off my chest. I will speak my own. I think there are cool things that are on there, visually pleasing, aesthetically pleasing, stimulating content, audibly pleasing. I mean, there's good stuff on there to, throw the baby out with the bathwater is not what I'm saying. But I do think that it, one, devalues art as a whole by making it so easily accessible. People are just inundated constantly with great art. I mean, some not so great art, but just constantly looking at art, and they're just swiping through it. And I think it wears on you in a certain way where maybe someone doesn't even want to take the time to like bother with painting or like a song that like they don't. I don't know. That's not being articulated the best way. But I think as a result of this constant stream of pictures and videos, everything just becomes boring and like postmodern. It's like nothing new under the sun. Everything's been done.
Anything without that perfect filter is kind of trashy.
Right. And well, you see the hashtag no filter, like that's considered like a cool thing.
Yeah. Now we're retro. We've come full circle. Are you good with the no filter, or you're still?
I'm less concerned about the no filter. It's just I think that's more of like a symptom, not necessarily the cause. And people also talk about the net that they can cast on social media, like showing everybody, showing your friends, being able to have it out there. But it's like, maybe instead of trying to show the world, maybe you should just try to show your neighbor. Like, show the person living next door to you. We're all plugged in on our phones all the time. We're not talking to people who are next to us. We're not having this.
You
don't sit down on the bench. I mean, later on in the episode, folks, get ready. We'll be pulling in a guest.
We'll be getting friendly with our neighbor.
With a neighbor. Someone who lives in the area. Or is just here in the area. But yeah.
So this gets back to, I think, last episode where we talked about screens and how we use them as a tool.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, you got to get down to the intent. Why am I posting this photo? Is it to make myself look cool? Is it to
make myself feel good?
Myself feel good? Is it to tell my friends what I'm up to? It's like, oh, I went boating this weekend, and I want you guys to see what I'm up to.
Right.
And I think some are like not more or less legitimate, but like some are more or less wholesome. Like, I want to let my friends know what I'm doing versus I want to look cooler than I actually am.
I want to push back on that, showing my friends what's cooler, just because I do think that's valid. And in terms of efficiency, I get it. You have tons of friends. You can't send each one of them an individual text. Right. But it's like, it goes back to like something like your parents harp on, like the value of like the thank you note, like the individualized something personal sent to you, like.
And by the way, the text is a step down from the thank you note, which is a step down from looking them in the eyes.
Right.
So all these are relative.
It's true. And the text is, I think the text is also, but I think the text is a step up from the mass post. Yeah, from the mass blast, precisely.
Yeah.
The text is personalized. It's like, oh, he sent me the picture and he wrote a couple sentences, as opposed to sending 700 people the picture and a caption.
7 million people.
Yeah, well,
some of these people
are like public. Yeah, no, they're blasting out.
So you're looking for like the personal touch?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm just talking about like I think the personal touch is being devalued and diminished, and in a dangerous way as a result of increased social media use. And I think similarly with art on a broad scale. I mean, art's a huge term, but I'm not saying the old way is the right way. I'm just saying there's definitely merit there, and we shouldn't be. Things are moving fast.
Things are cruising.
There's babies with iPads. Like, I mean, it's out of control. They're playing games and they got a Snapchat when they're in middle school. What do you have to show people? Like, telling all your friends you were playing soccer? Like, weren't you playing soccer with them?
Just a quick reminder.
Dude, they're all on the bus just like liking each other's things. It's like you were all
snapping each other from the back of the bus.
You're right there.
Interesting. All right, so is that the biggest complaint, the personal, or is that just one aspect of like
probably
a
more
cyber system that you have that like?
No, it's not the internet as a whole. I mean, that's too broad. I don't think the internet is devaluing art. The internet is creating more art than it would be potentially devaluing. So I wouldn't go that far with that. No, I'm talking more within the social media.
Instagram in particular.
Bounds.
Not so much with like Twitter, Facebook, or...
I don't know how much art is being created on Twitter. I mean, Twitter is more informational, transactional. I mean, and not that Instagram is all art. People are also just like posting like... I mean, then you talk about like what is art, but like, yeah, like a selfie. I'm not, sorry, that's not...
Yeah, we're not putting that
I'm not putting that in the art basket, no. Yeah. And I think the old ways of looking at art also are problematic, like saying like, oh, only Van Gogh is art, or like something like that, only some great painter. But like nowadays, like kids can't even look at a painting.
Like no desire,
no desire. But there's real beauty there. It's hard, and I'm not saying I get it, but like,
well, it requires so much more
concentrate, right? It's you can't flip through it. I mean, you can in an art gallery. You can run through an art gallery.
You wouldn't understand.
That's
anything.
the equivalent. There we go. Perfect analogy. The people who are just flying through their Instagram is the equivalent of running through an art gallery.
Yeah, are you actually taking the time to be like, oh, where was that picture taken? And why were you in Cuba?
Right.
And who did you meet while you were down there? Right. Like 1,000 words behind that picture.
So much.
Nobody's sticking around.
And there's all the cool things and the different, like, maybe everyone's commenting. I mean, the quintessential thing is, an attractive woman posts a picture and everyone comments about how beautiful she is. It's like, how about the scenery? How about the other things going on in the picture? Like, take a little more time. Look at, I know that's the first thing that pops out. I know, I understand. I'm a dude too, but still. And there's other things there. There's more to the equation.
So the tool is being massively misused?
I don't think...
Or do you think it's functionally just a broken system? Like there is no...
No. It's not. The system works.
No, I'm just saying, like, is it set up for...
I mean, people are making money. It has its flaws.
Facebook is worth like $500 billion.
Yeah.
520, and they just lost like 20% of their value.
Right. Yeah. Big.
So not a great day for Zuckerberg and his financials, but that's all right.
But they bounced back.
They're still doing all right.
Yeah, they're fine. They're worth tons of money.
Apparently, they went up like 40% in the past.
There's always the bounce back.
So like, it's just a slight correction.
Yeah. It's like, okay. Right. Sure.
People aren't talking about that. Anyway, every user is worth $5 a year, apparently. Between the ads they can show you, the data they can sell.
Sure.
And then there have been studies that have like identified legitimate like symptoms from like social media use or like reactions. So
hey, we're not just talking carpal tunnel. I mean,
addiction, jealousy, unhealthy comparisons, and loneliness.
Sure.
To start.
For sure.
But then there are. It says here, professionals spend about 32% of their day at work online. So the work week's getting longer.
No, I didn't. Come on.
But you're checking in on whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm doing important things. I'm a
Definitely not doing
I'm
that.
a bigwig. Well, no, okay. So there's this like quote about social media, and I'll probably mangle it, but it's in line with this. It's like jealousy. It's like you're comparing your like worst points to everybody else's highlight reel.
How could you possibly?
Right.
Yeah.
You'll never stack up, and it's not. And you have to realize it's not even their highlight reel. Like people are spending like hours getting that like perfect picture.
Getting the right angle. Like, how many pictures did they throw in the trash? Before they
Yeah,
put that one up?
seriously. Yeah.
It's
And then people will do like hashtag like picture I didn't delete or something. I mean, not something a little more suave than that, but it'll be like, and then we'll do the retro thing again. It's like we'll go back.
We're coming full circle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
On the flip side, some people feel a boost of self-esteem because they can craft their image.
For sure.
And maybe there's value to that. Like
Certainly
we
build brand.
criticize that because it's putting out maybe an image that isn't perfectly you, or maybe sometimes you need to like manipulate an image to show exactly how you felt. Like this image doesn't really portray how excited I was in this moment. Right. And with the right filter, the right angle change, the right picture will show that.
I agree.
And some people might feel empowered by that. It's like a lot of their memories all in one spot. Their friends can check.
Right.
The main value I see is interconnectedness.
Yeah, right. That was what Facebook was built on.
But if we're using it to connect with people we don't know to make money off their eyeballs, I think we've strayed a little bit off that.
Yeah. Not literal eyeballs, although that is a issue as well. But no, I mean, shown in seniors, like it's helped reduce loneliness.
Totally.
But like it's also made them more susceptible to scammers. So I mean, you know, now instead of just the phone call, they get the pop-up, they click on it, suddenly they're cleaned out. They're cleaned out, and it's just social security. And a lot of these, unless they got like, you know, diligent children who are taking care of them, it's like a lot of people get old and it's just, life is too much to do anymore. They can't really quite do everything.
Or they're just not, they didn't grow up with this like this internet.
Oh yeah, like, certainly, right.
No idea.
They're late adopters, and they're not even adopting it. I mean, this is like...
they're getting adopted by it.
Yeah, really. They're getting consumed by it. They become the $5.
That's it.
Yeah.
$5 a year.
Ching!
Should we push? Any closing thoughts?
Has the good, has the bad, as does almost everything.
We're in the middle.
We're in the middle, but I'm a little more on the critical. And it bothers me especially if I'm out with people and like they're on social media. And especially if it's like something that, and maybe, you know, they're posting a picture of like something like we were doing then, but even then, like I'd have to think about that because that seems a little biased just because I'm involved, that it would be permissible. But just the fact that like we're together, like why are we not like sharing? Like clearly our communication has somewhat of a flaw that we feel we need to go to the phones unless we've passed that moment. It's just like the phones are preferred.
Yeah.
And that's way too far.
Yeah,
that's hugely problematic, especially because, you know, we haven't even been hit with the final product.
What do you mean?
This is iPhone 10. Like there'll be iPhone 100. Like wait to see how immersive that is.
We're gonna have chips in our brain.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like sometimes that bothers me too. It's fine if you just grab a quick picture and then like you post it
gotta
later.
check or something. But like I like what Aziz Ansari did in Master of None, and he talked about it a little bit, but he tried not to talk about it too much. Was that when he would use his phone, he would go to like another room, like in the show. Like
I go to the bathroom.
Right, like he would the bathroom, perfect time.
Hop in,
wash the hands,
got a couple minutes, whatever, check in.
Yeah. A call a little different. I mean, if it's a big group of people, take it in the hallway, you know.
Step out.
Right. I mean, if it's super important, but otherwise you're there with these people. And it's even weirder if it's people that you're like catching up with. It's like, dude, like what?
I haven't seen you in 9 months.
How little do you value my time?
Yeah.
And I mean your time too, but I mean
that's different.
my time.
We're talking my time. Okay. I think we're just in the interest of time.
I feel good on that.
I think we're close to the limit.
Yeah, check.
We have 3 minutes left. Any closing thoughts?
No, I'm
satiated. All right, let's reset the clock. All right, we're talking education in this next segment. Higher, lower, middle, post-grad, preschool, every step of the way. People spend so much money on their preschoolers.
Preschool is crazy.
I saw Law and Order about this. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but like there was like a murder because the mom wanted to get her kid into this preschool that guaranteed they'll go to like an Ivy League school or whatever. It's like insane. It's anyway, that's not the point.
Okay.
I want to follow the money. What's going on in the education system? Because, well, maybe
makes it sound like a crime scene.
It's a huge crime scene.
Okay.
We're being robbed of our education.
Okay, I agree.
Never let school get in the way of your education. School is severely in the way right now. And it's sad. It's like, for some people, this is their biggest tool to get out. And they're just being robbed blind of that. Like, that should be the one true gift society gives us. Like, a fantastic education. We can't guarantee you'll have a great family.
Right.
Can't guarantee you'll have a great house or a great neighborhood. I mean, we could, and we probably should. But I think school is like, that is basic, right?
It's true. I mean, you're talking about the United States, of course. Because, I mean, globally, this looks a little different. Talk about South Korea, talk about Finland. Their education's phenomenal. I mean, they were 1 and 2 in the OECD.
But they have very different models than us.
Sure,
I don't
certainly.
really know enough.
No, I mean, the American model could be part of the issue.
I'm talking local.
Right. Yeah. You're talking New York.
National. I'm talking national. National. So
we're talking the states.
We're talking the states.
The big 50.
As we should. But that's interesting. Like, we could tie it in.
Because we talk global, but no, yeah. Keep going. Follow the money.
So let's follow the money. New York City, each student is about 23 grand per year. That's 23 grand per student. Private schools are way higher. It's like between 40 and 50 grand. Colleges, between 40 and 60 grand. You go public college, it's a little less.
In-state, out-of-state.
Sure. But like, that's a lot of money to be spending per student.
It's a ton.
And why are we not, like, why are people dropping out? Why are kids not learning how to read? Why are, it's just like, it seems like basic things that schools should be providing that we still haven't even mastered.
Right.
Like, our graduation rate in the city is like 60%.
They're also not learning a lot of valuable, just like necessary skills for where our economy is going. Like, not everybody can be a coder. Like, we still need people who know how to cook and know how to build and can do things with their hands besides type.
That's interesting. So, like, to what extent should we be learning practical skills in school?
Right. Everyone talks about the computer. I mean, the computer is certainly the future, but you got to build the computer. You can't just build it with the computer.
Well,
vocational schools. I mean, you just look at. I mean, talk about the different models. There's ways kids are learning in other countries where they start them with sort of a job in mind, as opposed to this very open, seasoned, liberal artsy.
What do you think of that?
What do I think about which?
Just like putting them on a track, like, you're going to be a plumber and we're going to teach you more or less skills that will help you get
right. I mean, I don't want to restrict anybody. I don't want to restrict anybody's dream, and I'm not saying people should be started on tracks in kindergarten. But I think if you sort of ask somebody in high school, maybe if they wanted to go on a certain track and started them on that, give them an opt-out or, an option to change tracks. I mean, just like, the elevators, 4 years later, I think that's reasonable, but give them a little focus, because yes, the open world is full of possibilities, but I mean, there's also too many possibilities. Suddenly you can't pick one. I mean, it's like, what, decision fatigue?
That's what I see college as, though. Like, you can pick where you want to start moving in college. Like, I kind of like when lower education, or like up through high school, it's like, we're going to teach you incredible things. And you should just want to learn this because it's empowering and interesting. And not all of it's going to be like, I'm going to have to read this book I don't want to read.
Certainly.
But if people have been reading this book for thousands of years, maybe there's some value, and I could at least familiarize myself with it so I can talk about it, or hear somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, and then I can follow them. Like, there's value just from learning.
Right.
And certain things we could probably cut down in the curriculum. We could have that discussion.
Right.
But to track somebody and say this is just so you can work one day, I think sort of misses the point of just like empowering yourself as like a learner.
Certainly, I think that's hugely important. I would never want to diminish that. Not everybody will be an intellectual. Yes, they should have a good baseline, but they can also be prepared for the real world. I mean, not everything is K through 12. Not everybody gets to the college. I mean, you talk about follow the money. Look at how expensive college has become. It's all because the banks said that they would, match these loans, and it's just gone guarantee the loans, and it's gone steadily up, and there's no end in sight because the loans are backed, so they can just hike the price. You'll pay more.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's also like you sort of expect your college to be like a spa. You know, it's like, where's my rock climbing wall?
Right. Well, that's the thing about all the possibility.
Hot tub in my dorm room.
You're going for 4 years of leisure. Some people have so much possibility they don't have anything in mind.
They just think I'm going to college to whatever.
Well, to become a learner. That's how it's demonized. I'm into the learning. I promote that ideology and certainly becoming a learner. I don't 100% buy into the idea of going to college for a job. I think in most cases it really depends on the circumstance. You know, people who are first generation, you know, they need to provide. Like, that's the first thing on their mind. Their thing on their mind isn't, let me become some learner, let me read philosophy.
Worldwide intellectual.
Right, exactly. Right, you know, they need to get a job.
Yeah.
That's the number one priority. It's lovely to have the privilege of being able to engage with different texts and become a learner. Be like, oh, people have read this book for a long time. Let me see if it's worth something. Oh, it wasn't? Maybe they made a bad decision back then? Or, oh, no, wow, this is actually brilliant. And I appreciate it. It'll shape my life. Yeah. I see both.
Some people are going deep into debt, and they're getting degrees that aren't going to set them up.
The debt issue is huge.
That's bad. So that's part of the money issue I want to follow.
Right, there's the whole default movement, just the mass default. All students just be like, yeah, we're not paying it back. Like, that would destroy the economy.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, we're already crazy in debt as it is. We just keep borrowing.
More than credit card loans.
It's out of control.
It's steep in the U.S.
Yeah.
So for our international viewers.
Yeah, that's right.
Could be a couple of you out there. I know there's at least one.
There's one. I don't know if I pulled in one.
You're
actually no. Shout out to Adam. He's watching in Lebanon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
There we go.
We got a presence.
Bingo. Or Jordan. Where he is. Yeah.
So the main issue I want to talk about is lower education. I think
it's hot.
It's hot in the city.
You know, they say hot temperatures and humidity lowers cognitive function. So it's no wonder this episode's been worse. No, I'm joking.
No, I saw a Law and Order about a dad who made his daughter study in a freezer. It stimulated the mind.
Well, here we freezer might be a little cold. That's
no, but it forces you
Makes
to.
Sense, it was Law and Order.
You want to get out
laser focus. That's true.
Yeah,
that is true. Maybe I'll try that.
We do our next episode in the fridge. I like that. Alright, but here's my point. If we want to fix education, I think we have to start spending the money more effectively. That we do have. $23,000 a student, there are 34 kids in the class. There's $700,000-800,000 in that classroom.
This is high school or college?
This is grade school.
It's grade school. Yeah, so
probably even more in college because you got $40,000 in some of these
way bigger classes. Yeah,
you got 300 kids.
I did have some small classes, but it varies a lot.
The class is $200 or $300 for a 50-minute class. So
right. Yeah. Someone actually in my class crunched the numbers on how much each class was worth.
Hundreds of dollars.
And said it to the professor, and then he kept harping on it the rest of the semester. He was like, "I'm gonna make sure this class is worth $400, whatever it was." That's funny, but I don't know. I don't know if he kicked it up a gear. He was already a good teacher. So.
Here's the main point. I want to. And we got to push because we're trying to come under 55 minutes.
Right.
So, the main point I just want to spread to the world is that every time we hold back a student, that's another $23,000 we're spending on them. And imagine if you could just get them a tutor.
Right. Get them the tools.
A music lesson in school doesn't compare to a private music lesson, right? The one-on-one is ideal,
right?
And it's not always necessary. But sometimes, if a student's falling behind, a quick little one-on-one injection is going to push them up to speed.
Right.
I would say pretty quick.
It's just that would be less necessary if more of our teachers were higher qualified, and that's not to diminish teachers. We have great teachers, but we also have a lot of so-so teachers. And the money's not there.
Everything. We have so-so.
It's true. It's true. But the money is we don't. I get an excellent cut of prime rib. No.
Well, you got a great butcher. You got a guy uptown, maybe.
It's true. No. But as a whole, we are not paying teachers enough. They do not. I mean, certainly they get a lot of time off.
You want to pay them more.
You got to pay them more, and you incentivize better education. And I still dig the idea of the one-on-ones because certainly people learn differently one-on-one than in a classroom. But if teachers were paid more and the incentive was there, more people would be drawn in.
Pull in more people.
Yeah, and also students would be less distracted and would be paying more attention. We're sticking them in 95-degree classrooms in these old dingy buildings. I mean, of course they're not focusing. They're just
How many
looking at
experts are leaving the field to come teach in public school? Right?
It's like unheard of.
Yeah. I had a few doctors.
Most of them want to go college.
They go to universities and
not
teach.
going to teach high school, middle school.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So the money is being. I think the money is just being squandered.
The money is
like,
being squandered.
We can
and
get
people are
these
profiting. Whoever is investing in these colleges
or whatever. There's like some. I don't know who's making money.
Yeah, who is exactly making money? I'm not.
Who's making money on all these horrible educations?
Well, the thing is, the colleges have a lot of investments in all of these kind of so to pretty awful things like oil and gas and fossil, all those investments. You see all these like divestment campaigns. So they're down. I mean, if the colleges are doing well, then the places the colleges invested in and have investment. I mean, if the investments are mutual, then everyone's doing well. So that's not great.
Yeah, it's like, why is this university investing in oil?
What is that?
You have money to spend on your students.
Yeah, why is?
And if you have any extra money, maybe you should be spending that on your students.
I mean, I do get the idea. Well, I do get the idea of investments to bring in more money, to spend more money on students. But I feel like that's not really the way. Something seems amiss.
It's just like Harvard has like $40 billion endowment or something.
Crazy.
I just don't. What are you doing with that money?
Yeah, are people graduating from there really like? I mean. Yeah, I'm not saying they're not smart. I'm not saying they don't achieve more, but is it worth the amount? Like, how much more are they really achieving?
I think like people see that degree and they're like, this person worked their ass off.
Right.
So it's gonna open up like their butt.
Careful with the language there.
Excuse me. They worked their butts off, and now they're gonna work their butts off for us. That's like what that's
the idea, right? Yeah.
So it holds weight, I'm sure.
Oh, certainly.
But I just don't understand the mindset from the institution. Like, they are for profit at that point. If you are amassing that much wealth,
right?
Like you are not like your intention. It's hard to say that it's purely educational. Like you are really working for the money.
It shouldn't have to be like this.
Public schools, I don't know where the money's going. It's not going back to the students enough. It's like there are basic services for learning disabled kids, like dyslexic. They should be getting like basic tutoring.
It's just not happening.
And that should be standard. And if you say you don't have the money for that, well, you do. Like you have $800,000 in each classroom. So.
I mean, there's the myth. I mean, I don't know. I presented it as. I don't know if it's a myth, but there's the idea. I'll say it that way, that America like used to be #1 in education, and I found a lot of mixed reactions to that online from different sources. Some were like 20 as little as 20 years ago or 25 years ago we were #1 in math, reading, and science. Some were like we were never #1 in math. But regardless, right now, according to the rankings we're 14th aggregately.
That sounds good. I was gonna say closer to 30.
I mean, it's out of like 36 industrialized like nations. Like 14th. It's if we consider ourselves the pinnacle of the best, the best country in the world, the example, the light into the nations. Well, we're leading that light with a lot of dimwits. it's a dim light. It's a little hard.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like
I'm no genius.
Same. But we got through school. You're gonna get a degree.
I will get a degree. But how much is that? It's just like following the machine. Like, God, dude, I'm getting bit up.
That's the problem with golden hour.
Dude, these skeeters are out. Oh my God. No, but seriously, how much is that? How much of me getting a degree was me just sort of like following the wave? Like, I could have tried harder in school. I also could have tried less. But like, how much less would I, if I had tried, would I have like flunked out? If I had.
How close are you to flunkage?
Right, like not close at all. But like, I didn't feel like I was pushed that hard in college. Like, it wasn't that hard to get grades.
Grade inflation, right?
Grade inflation. Yeah,
people are pumping out A's.
It's ridiculous.
It used to curve to a C, right?
Yeah,
C used to be average.
Yeah, and people also like freak out if they don't get A's now.
Yeah,
like it has to be an A.
And I think that's another issue. It's like, I want to go to class to learn something. You got him?
Yeah, I got him.
I want to go to class to learn something, not to get an A. And I would like to get an A.
Certainly.
But when the object becomes to get an A, you're just so, like for example, in engineering school, you have to solve all these problems. If all you're doing is figuring out how to solve a problem and you don't even understand what its application is, then you have completely missed the point of that education.
So you're like, oh, you got the A, you know?
Yeah.
I memorized it. I wrote it on the
You
paper.
regurgitated.
Yeah, exactly. Rinse and repeat.
Now, one thing I'd like to touch on, we
Yeah.
took slightly different paths in college.
Definitely.
You're a philosophy major.
I'm not done yet, too. Don't count me out, bucko. I got another year on the horse.
Or you said you could switch majors, or?
Oh, no, I'm not switching. No, I'm anchored in.
Yeah, you're like
I'm
that.
not. I finished the major. I have a year of like I got a
just
little
need
minor.
credits.
Yeah, one minor thing, but yeah, that's it.
So, you're pushing for philosophy. I was mechanical engineering.
Right.
Do you think there's like, for me, a major is like, I want a lens with which to think about the world. And all of them require critical thinking.
Right.
Your critical thinking is through, you could probably tell me more than I would, but like through like reading these texts, now I can think about these ideas. I have a well-balanced approach. I can see both sides.
Right.
And specifically with huge philosophical ideas about life and this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
And for mechanical engineering, it's like, how does this work? How is this structurally sound? How is this mechanism interacting so there's movement and accomplishing what I want it to do? And like, they're two very different lenses, but they're both heavy on the critical, like, it's all critical thinking.
Engaging with a lot of material.
And I think they're transferable. It's like something that you could talk about. My mechanical engineering like mindset will help me connect those gears that you're talking about.
Certainly.
And with philosophy, I can explain how these like this gearbox works, and you're like, oh, this connects that way, and then you gear it up. Whatever.
I get it. It's true.
So
I think that is there is the overlap, and there are
the niches.
Right. You can certainly look at things in the mechanical engineering way and in the philosophical way. I think you can do that with a lot of things. Maybe not everything, but.
So what would be exclusive? That like.
I wasn't really ready for that. If we're being honest.
So for example, I took a class on heat transfer.
Yeah.
And it's all about how heat transfers through materials or fluids or this or that.
I'll need a little more to go to tie that into something.
But like, I guess my point is, I don't know how like instinctual your philosophy classes will be, or like intuitive it'll be for you to apply what you learned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll be applied in the same way as your application of mechanical engineering will be more one-to-one. It'll be like, oh, I know how this works, so I'm seeing how it works on this, or like it's not quite working on this, and it's not quite working because of this knowledge. And mine will be like, okay, I have this idea in my mind, like I've had a series of experiences. How do they match up to the expectation of what was laid out to me with this idea versus what actually happened in my experience? Like, how do I, like, what can I learn from it? It's more, philosophy, I think, inherently when you try to apply it, it's more meta. It's hard to apply it directly onto, I mean, maybe you could talk about, like, the philosophy of space and, like, parking and, like, things like that, but, like, not that that's not a thing, but I didn't do that much. I guess the most focused philosophy I did was philosophy of perception. That was probably the most like on a specific topic. But like a lot of stuff was like I did a history of philosophy. We covered a bunch of different philosophers and like sort of broad ideas and topics. But also a lot of philosophy is just like doing the reading and just like read something you don't understand, figure out why you don't understand it, and you become a better learner. That like the basis of learning.
Learn how to interpret those kinds of texts.
Exactly. And then have a great teacher who you can ask the appropriate questions and understand the things that you don't get. Because as great as Google is, it's not the same as the one-on-one.
We're back.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully,
Okay, I'll just jump right. There's people in these lectures, man. Oh my god.
Got cut off there.
I saw one kid eating a meal, headphones on, watching Netflix, just sitting in this class. I was like, why are you
in class
here, dude?
Yeah.
Stay at home.
Yeah.
Don't come. Not just
because you're getting in my way. I have to listen to
for
your
the other
headphones.
People.
You're talking in class. People are talking in class. That pisses me off. It's like
that's frustrating.
Especially if they're not even taking attendance in this class. Please, you're just showing up to look like you go to class, and you are not here. Here's the one thing I think we haven't touched on yet.
And then we gotta push really the third topic.
Okay. So I picked my major specifically because I knew it put me in like an economically viable position.
It almost sounds like you were like aiming to be like for the job, like you're not. Almost. It's against the learning, the idea of like going to school for learning.
So I'm still in. I picked the major that I was most interested in. That would make me the most money. Sure. Or even better yet, I looked at my interests and I said, which one will give me the most money? Because I could have gone to music school, maybe. I don't know if I was good enough, but like I have an interest in that.
Piano. Yeah, sure.
I could have tried to be a tennis player. I could have tried to do running, whatever. I could try like even philosophy. Like I think philosophy is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
But I said mechanical engineering will get me like the most money in the graduate situation. So is that wrong, or what do you think about that? Because
that's not wrong. There's nothing morally wrong about that.
You didn't follow that necessarily, right?
No, I didn't really go into college looking for a job. I went in definitely from the learning perspective. I wanted to. I had a lot of different interests. I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to do. I still don't necessarily know exactly what I want to do, but I know more specifically what I'd like to do. I don't know if philosophy brought me to that, but it allowed me to engage with a nice variety that ultimately helped me fine-tune those, economic, future interests. Like, where do I want to apply this block of learning?
I would say certainly anything you learn in a philosophy program, like the job you do pick, there's going to be value.
So the way you're critical, I mean that's becoming a better learner. You just handle tasks. I mean, you can look at things differently, more efficient. You don't make the same mistakes.
So I guess my question is, why did you pick philosophy if it wasn't as geared towards what will set me up in the post-grad life best?
Yeah, I mean, I read a pretty formative book over my gap year that talked a lot about the perils of like being locked into something. It was written by someone who like was pushed to be a lawyer for like his entire life, and then realized when he was like 25, like he hated this and like went back to like do English and became a writer. Like, so I was just like, I want to do something that I'll read and write a lot. And it was I guess like philosophy, English, or history. And freshman year, first semester, like you sign up for classes over the summer, but you're not exactly sure what you're going to get. They sort of create your schedule for you, and then the rest of the time you pick your own schedule. But going into it, and I had an intro to logic class, and it was philosophy, and it counted as a math requirement because logic is one of the elements of philosophy that has that sort of mathematical way of thinking. And I had always been somewhat averse to math, never excelling in it, but also just it never really caught my interest. I always preferred English and history. And logic, an intro to logic in particular, that professor, the content, whatever, helped reshape math in my mind to be something that could be pleasing. It's like, it doesn't just have to be these numbers. We can look at it with symbols, and like we can examine it differently.
Professor brought it to life in like a way that connected with you.
Good. The professor was great. It also could have just been the material. I could have been both. But I don't love all elements of logic. Like a lot of the analytical philosophy of trying to translate sentences and those sorts of like propositions down to logical. That drives me bananas. Because I think that's a waste of time. But then again, that's also coming from a novice philosopher. But the intro to logic, really shaped it for me. And I was like, I want to pursue all of this.
So what I'm hearing is that what shaped your decision for a college major was, what do I want to be doing while I'm studying? And if the question was, I want to be solving a lot of problems, like by hand or math, then it'd be engineering. If it was reading and writing, it's going to be more towards English, history, philosophy. Interesting. So you decided, what do I want to be doing all day at college?
I mean, I could have gone if I was thinking that and I really wanted to make a lot of money and I wanted to be more practical, because writing's probably not the most practical thing, because millions of people trying to be writers. Go law. I mean, lawyers clean up, but I don't want to be a lawyer.
Lawyers might be on the way out.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, you got to think about it. That's another topic. Let's push. Let's find a guest.
We got a guest, Danny.
Welcome.
Hey.
How we doing?
Guys. How you doing?
Good.
We're doing.
Great to have you here.
All right.
You're on a bike right now, so
Right, sit
we're
down.
breathing heavy right now. So
yeah, that's fine. We just scooped him off the path.
Yeah, that hill kills you.
He thought he was gonna get water, and then we just scooped him right
Little
out.
did you know. Little did you know.
But that's all right. So it's getting dark anyway. Let's talk travel.
Okay.
So I got here 7.6 trillion US dollars in 2016 worldwide, and the country that gets the most economic output from travel is Maldives. Never even heard of it. 40%.
Maldives.
Maldives.
Okay. it's in my bucket list to go there.
You know that?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on the bucket list.
Really?
There's Mauritius, Maldives, all these islands.
Very nice.
So yeah.
That number that's generated, or that's
So
generated by
39.6% of the economic activity on the island is revolved around tourism. People coming, checking it out. I'm gonna take you on a bike ride.
Right.
I'm gonna show you the landscape, whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly thought there were gonna be countries that were higher than that.
Right. UK,
Yeah, I thought,
France,
Thailand.
Thailand.
I thought there would be like
Yeah.
70-80%, but
Yeah.
40 is still pretty high. Like imagine 40% of your value comes from just showing people around. Like you're not actually making anything necessary. I don't know.
People love the tropics. I mean, the Maldives is tropical, right?
It is.
People want to go where it's warm.
Blue waters.
No, I'm
it's
sure
exclusive too. It's
Yeah.
not like
Right, that's why they're paying so much.
It's expensive and
Right.
exclusive, so it's not for everybody.
Right, that's why it's generating so much
Yeah.
money, is because it's so
Yeah.
expensive. You know, you could take a cheaper trip somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's small. It's a small country, right?
It is.
Right,
It's
so,
an
I
island,
mean,
island country.
They're exporting
yeah.
coconuts and it's resorts. I mean,
Yeah.
what else are they?
And I guess I was just thinking, like, is that an issue if most of your value is just from showing people
frustrating.
around?
For the people on the island.
I mean, you know,
Live a normal life.
being on an island, your resources are limited, right? So especially, it's a small island country if you look it up. So, you know, they have limited resources, limited land, so they can't really build attractions when land is an issue. I'm assuming, you know, it's like, you know, you're in Key West, you can't really build a water park if you don't have land.
Right.
So they have to make best of what they have.
What about like the next Silicon Valley or like huge manufacturing or something like?
Still needs land. Like manufacturing definitely
You
needs
need
factories
people.
and stuff. So you don't have land. So tourism's the best bet they have. They have one of the best beaches in the world. If, you know, see the water. It's really, you know, it's like a swimming pool.
Right.
So you know, and they have these cottages on water where you can, you know, like glass floors and stuff. So it's really exclusive. Like it's one of those things
Sounds
you want to go for your honeymoon and stuff. Yeah.
You guys also think population, like these islands can't support that many people. They can't grow enough food for, you know, they're all the fossil fuels that are spent getting all these phenomenal tastes and treats and delicacies from across the oceans to this island.
It's exactly. Everything comes from overseas, I'm
Right.
assuming. So
I mean, maybe they can grow something, but not enough for all of these people.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side, then your whole or a huge part of your economy is bringing more people to the island.
Yes.
It's like
You
this
gotta
is a
find the
small
balance, right.
island that we can't support that many people, and we're gonna bring more people here.
Yeah, so they're
Right.
trying to make that money.
They probably have a tipping point. They probably have
Yeah.
like, we are at
Oh,
capacity.
I'm sure there's a downside. Like the locals must hate these people.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
right.
Besides the people who work in the industry, I'm pretty sure. I used to live in Florida and I hated tourists. So, and you know, if you live in New York, you hate Times Square.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
You
like-
avoid the tourists.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Yeah.
It's all of Florida, just tourists.
The economy is tourism driven. That's
Really?
that's
No
it's a
people.
$1 trillion economy, and most of it's from tourism. So.
Interesting. I guess
Yeah.
Miami. I've never been to Florida, so I don't really know.
Oh, it's worth going.
It's nice
I don't know
down
about
there.
living there. It's you know, slower pace.
Good orange juice.
Yeah.
That's what I
You
know.
get that at the rest area.
Yeah,
It's
mango.
all natural. Yeah.
Yeah, mangoes down there.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Probably.
good. It makes sense. Good fruit.
So I'm also wondering about like the intent of traveling. People who travel, like there are a whole range of reasons you could be traveling, right? You could want to meet new people,
Yeah.
expose yourself to new ideas, or is it also like fill this void of like your life is unsatisfactory and
Escape.
I'm gonna travel the world to find somewhere that will be better, and nobody ever really finds that, right? Or maybe they do. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like it's an escape for people, like you said. You know, like it's more like a getaway place. You know, you're not going to a typical tourist destination. You're not going to Thailand. You're not going to, you know, Hawaii or something. You're going to like an exclusive place because it's like way down below Africa in the Indian Ocean, I believe. So it's not like, you know, like the distance is not like it's not convenient for everybody. So whoever wants to go there, they know about the place. They did their research. They didn't just like, hey, let's go to this place. You know what I mean?
You're talking about the Maldives, right?
Maldives,
Right.
yeah. If that's what you're talking about.
In general, too. Like, what's the? I mean, I'm all for traveling. You know, fill up your book of life with all these great experiences and memories. But you know, definitely don't forget the people back home. Unless the people back home suck. You're like, I want to get away from you.
Sometimes, sometimes you need to get out of this city.
Yeah.
Like this city will, you know, it has its ups and downs. So it'll
Definitely.
You know, if you work in the city, you know that, you know, you need a break.
Yeah.
You know, like you need a break from the city. It's like
People aren't meant to be living like.
yeah, like you know, not everyone's a fan of commuting here. You know what I mean?
Oh, commute stuff.
Yeah, so you know, I'm sure they prefer like, you know, like that kind of getaway if they can. A lot of people go to Dominican Republic from New York. That's a really popular destination.
Or even go upstate, somewhere quiet. You know?
Hudson Valley and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah,
Adirondacks.
Just to recharge.
Yeah, you really need it when you live in the city.
All right, we're getting close to time. I'm wondering. I got this quick story and then we can wrap up.
Sure.
So I was on tour. I traveled for like 5 weeks, Costa Rica and then Canada up to New York, whatever.
Nice.
I met this woman. She was all about selfies.
Oh,
Like everywhere she went was the selfie. Like it confirmed her day when she had the right selfie of her, or like
Okay.
the right picture.
yeah.
And like, what's up with that? What do you like? Is that missing
That's
the point?
the norm, man. It's, I mean, sad but true. Like everybody's got to do these things. You know, it's like people forgot to enjoy if your phone's not with you.
Right.
You know, just picture yourself 10 years back or whatever, the flip phone era. People weren't doing this stuff. You know, now everyone's so dependent on smartphones that, you know, you got to have it to survive. And then you get home and get on your computer and then post this shit. You know, excuse my language, but you know,
Let it fly.
you know what I mean?
Take it up, folks.
It's a family show.
Yeah. So you know, like people just feel like
It's
it's the most. I like from research, from what I heard, it's the most significant tool of the century because it's an all-in-one thing that you walk. You have a watch with you. You have the weather. You have emails, internet, TV, and of course the phone. So it's like the most significant invention of
The thing
this.
we call it.
Yeah.
Right. People don't even call those now. Just send you the selfie.
Text. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, you know, this is just the start of something crazy. Like, you know, VR is gonna change the next era, I would say.
Augmented
so
reality.
yeah, exactly. So
The travel is just another part of our lives
Yeah.
that's been corrupted by the phone.
it is, and you know, people have to show where they're going instead of feel where they are. You know what I mean?
Just go to the place.
Yeah.
Are you even going to the place for yourself then?
Yes, exactly.
So much for the trip.
To your friends.
I would cancel my or put my phone on hold, just take it for the photos, but not like to post it or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I travel. Yeah.
Favorite thing, I send an email and it bounces and the person's like, I'm on vacation for a couple of weeks. It's like, oh, that's fair.
I
Like,
think it should
thank
be.
you.
Like,
Good.
Don't
Love
read
it.
my email.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Good.
much.
That's serious.
Get away.
Totally.
All right.
Cool.
right.
Any
Thank you,
closing
dude.
thoughts on
Oh,
travel?
yeah, I
Anything
don't
you want to put out?
Just, you know, go wherever you're going with your heart, man. And don't worry about your phone and, you know, social media. You know, enjoy the place because there'll be a time in life that you'll regret the moments you didn't enjoy while you were there instead of trying to take the right photo or whatever, you know, status, stuff like that. Just be in that moment. That's it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being in Arma.
Cheers,
Danny,
guys.
let's let you
Thank
get your
you.
bikes
Yeah,
back.
All right, guys.
That'd be
Cheers.
awesome.
Well,
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What's the channel gonna be
It's
called?
called 5
Oh.
1 episode 2. Should we sign off or we're still live?
We're still live. Yeah, we do a sign off.
We do a quick sign off, or is that good? Like we just cut it?
Nah, let's just kind of do. Let's just keep it natural.
Keep it real.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Alright, we're out.